With Combine Week wrapping up, Kenny Pickett has been the hot conversation of a lot of talks in the NFL. With that being said, I wanted to share my thoughts. For those who are less informed on Kenny Pickett, he's currently 23 years old. He's a draft prospect in the 2022 NFL Draft. He plays quarterback. When he takes his first NFL snap, however, he will be 24 years old, so he is a little bit older for a rookie. He was born June 6, 1998. He attended the University of Pittsburgh. He's a redshirt senior. As far as his measurables, he stands 6 foot 3 inches tall. He weighs 217 pounds. His arm length is 30 and 7/8 inch long. His hands are 8.5 inches. He ran a 40-yard dash in 4.73 seconds. He had a vertical jump of 33.5 inches, a broad jump of 121 inches. He had a 20-yard shuttle of 4.29 seconds. As far as statistics in the 2021 season at Pittsburgh, in passing, in 13 games, he threw for 67.2% completion percentage. He had 4,319 yards, 42 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, which is a phenomenal season. Rushing in those same 13 games, he had 97 total rushing attempts for 241 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. For Kenny Pickett as a prospect, after watching several games, I think that his best traits are his accuracy and decision making. As for areas of concern, there's one that comes to my mind first. He's 23 years old. 23-year-old rookie quarterback entering the NFL. You don't really see that very often. He'll be 24 years old before he takes that first snap. And piggybacking off that, because of that, he had a late breakout. He didn't break out until his redshirt senior season. With that being said, I don't really know what took so long for him to break out. Obviously, he had some ankle injuries, and then the COVID season kind of affected everybody. But, having your redshirt senior season be your by far most productive year, granted, it was a very great year, but what took so long for him to develop, and how much more development can you really get out of him? In addition to that, another area of concern is his hand span. He only had 8.5 inch sized hands, and in the NFL today, no other quarterback has that small hands. The next closest is Joe Burrow with 9 inches, and people were concerned with him. Granted, I think that he has kind of silenced those doubters, but it's still an area of concern nonetheless. Now, as far as digging into Kenny Pickett, I have watched multiple games of his. I've watched him versus Wake Forest, at Syracuse, versus North Carolina, versus Miami, versus Clemson, and versus Western Michigan. So with that being said, I'd like to dig into the film and kind of show you guys what I've seen out of Kenny Pickett in his 2021 season. With that being said, the first clip I'd like to share with you is from a game against Wake Forest. Five is going to quickly gain inside leverage on his defender and work upfield before snapping his route inside on the slant route. This play results in a touchdown for one big reason, and that is about how Kenny Pickett can manipulate second-level defenders with his eyes alone. What you're going to see on this play is Pickett's going to get the snap and immediately turn his head to the far side of the field. As you can see, I enlarge his head so you can see where his eyes are looking. The reason he's looking at the far side of the field is to get that single high safety that I have boxed in red to open his hips to that far sideline. Pickett ultimately wants that safety to open his hips to that far sideline and start drifting in that direction to open up the near sideline where number 5 is running the slant. Pickett successfully moves that safety with his eyes. Using his eyes, he manipulated that safety to drift to that side of the field, opening up the near side to throw a touchdown to number 5 on the slant. Manipulating safeties is a trait you see in most good NFL quarterbacks. Throwing to wide open receivers is great, but is few and far between in the NFL. In the NFL, that is a luxury to have. With that being said, Pickett will need to make more plays like this on a regular basis in the NFL. I want to look at this play again from another angle to better illustrate to you what exactly he did to make this play happen. So as we already saw, Pickett's going to get the ball and snap his head to the far side of the field. I put a box around his head to show you where his eyes are looking. Once again, this is to set up that safety. He's drawing that safety to the far side of the field to open up the end zone for where he really wants to go to the ball, which was to number 5 on the slant for the touchdown. After luring the safety to the far side of the field, he brings his head back to the middle of the field to identify where the safety is now. After observing the safety with his hips open and drifting to the far sideline, he works his eyes to number 5 on the slant route. The safety now is in no position to provide any kind of support to the cornerback. Number 5 is inside leverage, and there is an easy touchdown because of Pickett's football IQ. On this next play, playing against Western Michigan, Pickett's going to have his two tight ends running a post-corner combination. The inside tight end with the route in blue is going to be running a corner. The outside tight end with the yellow route will be running a post off the inside tight end's hip at the stem of his route. The ball is going to go to the outside tight end running the yellow route for a touchdown. However, there's a lot more that went into this play, and we're going to see it from another angle. So once again, but from another angle, 86 is the inside tight end running a corner, and outside tight end number 7 is running a post. Both routes are going to challenge the same defensive back who I've marked in a red box. I want to take you through the thought process that's going through Pickett's head in this moment. If the defensive back, number 35, runs with number 7 on the post, Pickett is going to throw it to the corner to number 86. However, if the defensive back, number 35, runs with 86 on the corner, Pickett will throw the ball to number 7 on the post. Number 35 eventually runs the corner, and Pickett is going to throw the ball to the post. This is not an easy throw, however. Pickett needs to get the ball over the linebacker's head with touch, but the ball needs to get there fairly quickly to ensure the safety doesn't have a chance to break up the play. Pickett throws a good ball, a touch low, but a very catchable ball that the tight end survives the contact from the safety and scores a touchdown. On the next play, the defense is in a single high safety look. The inside receiver on the far side of the field is going to run a go route. This is going to occupy the single high safety. Pickett sees this and knows that his near side receiver has inside leverage on a skinny post. Once his receiver gets into his break, Pickett puts the ball beautifully on his face mask for a touchdown. The second part of this play I want you to see is what I have boxed in red. Pickett, before delivering the ball, sees a defensive player coming at him full steam. This does not affect the throw, however. Pickett does not shy away from the contact. He absorbs the contact and delivers a good ball for a touchdown. This is something you really want to see out of a potential franchise quarterback. The next play is very similar to the last. The far side receiver is going to run a go route to occupy the far side safety. The near side inside receiver is going to run a double move. The defensive backs are going to switch responsibilities, and the outside defensive back will run with the double move. The issue with this is once again the receiver is given inside leverage on the defensive back. Pickett once again identifies it and puts the ball in a superb place, high where only the receiver can make a play on it. This results in a touchdown for Pittsburgh. The next play is an NFL concept used fairly frequently. This play is read high to low. The receiver lined up on the left side of the formation is running a post. He will be the high portion of the read. The outside receiver on the right side of the formation is running a dig. He will be the low portion of the read. If the safety runs with the post, the dig will be open. If the safety sits on the dig, the post will be open. Pickett observes the safety run with the post, and he finds the dig wide open in the middle of the field for a first down on 3rd and 19. This is a very good overall football IQ play by Pickett, and there are NFL quarterbacks today that struggle with this. So the fact that he's able to diagnose this is a big step in the right direction for him. Another aspect of Pickett's game that he performs really well at is escaping the pocket when under pressure. On the first play, he feels pressure and evades the rush, and then he rolls out. He does very, very well to keep his eyes up and downfield, and he finds a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone and makes a really difficult throw for a touchdown. On the second play, Pickett is going to drop back and he's going to have nowhere to go with the ball. He's going to maneuver the pocket and find somewhere to go with the ball. Eventually, after not being able to locate somewhere to go with the ball, he decides to just take off with his legs and he picks up 5 yards on the play. Now I want to get into Pickett's arm talent. He has average to slightly above average arm talent as a whole. On the first play, the receiver at the top of the screen is going to run a dig route. He's in man coverage and the defense is going to have 2 dropping linebackers to help in coverage. The outside receiver running the dig route has a step on his defender, and Pickett shows off his arm power by slotting this throw between the 2 dropping linebackers. This play demonstrates Pickett's adequate arm power to test tight windows throws. On the second play, the receiver is going to streak up the field and simply outrun the defender. Pickett's going to lay this ball out there roughly 48 air yards down the field with touch relatively easy. This demonstrates Pickett's average arm strength and that he can attack defenses at all 3 levels of the defense. Finally, for Pickett's arm talent, I want to show his ability to layer throws between 2nd and 3rd level defenders. Once again, the defense is going to have a dropping linebacker in coverage. The far side receiver is going to once again run a dig route. The receiver is man-to-man on the outside and gets a step on the defender. He gets behind the linebackers and Pickett's able to fit the ball over the linebacker but in front of the safety. This is a very impressive throw that does not get enough credit. Being able to throw a touch is an underrated skill to have. I feel like most starting NFL quarterbacks have to be able to throw with touch. Not every ball needs to come in with zip on it. Now I want to address Kenny Pickett's accuracy. He's a very accurate quarterback that can put the ball exactly where he wants, even when targeting the intermediate portions of the field. On this first play, the inside receiver on the left side of the formation is going to run a double move. The receiver has the defensive back on the inside hip, but he has his back to Pickett. Pickett realizes this and is able to deliver a beautiful back shoulder toss 30 plus yards out from a touchdown. On this second play, it's the same idea, except the outside receiver is running a go route, and Pickett is on the move rolling to the right. Pickett is able to work outside his structure, and he sees the defender as his back to Pickett and is not looking to make a play on the ball. Pickett squares his shoulders to the line of scrimmage and starts working his way back towards the line of scrimmage before delivering a brilliantly placed back shoulder ball along the right sideline for a big gain. On this play, Pickett simply reads the leverage of the defender and gives his receiver a chance to make a play at the goal line in overtime. What impressed me so much on this throw is the weather at the time of the play was very bad. Rainy, windy, it's just not optimal weather to be playing quarterback. This is something that I wanted to point out because there is the speculation about his 8.5-inch hands and wondering if he can play in weather like this. He even did this without his gloves. He found his target and ripped it into his chest for a touchdown and ended up being the game-winning score versus the North Carolina Tar Heels. The final part of his game that I want to address is his rushing upside. Pickett is a very mobile quarterback who can pick up chunk yardage with his legs and needs to be accounted for in goal line and short yardage situations. The first play is the infamous fake slide play. Pickett escapes the collapsing pocket and gallops for nearly 60 yards and a touchdown. This was a huge play to open up that game. The second play is a huge play in a close game. Pickett takes off out of the pocket on a big third down play and launches for the first down, fully extends, and just barely getting the first down marker. This play displays not only his great rushing ability, but his leadership and toughness as well. To wrap up my thoughts on Pickett, he's a plug-and-play day-one starter in the NFL. I envision Pickett being a starting quarterback for the next 8+ years and being viewed as a top 16 to 24 quarterback in the league in his peak. I believe his best fit is with New Orleans Saints. He'd be an instant upgrade over any quarterback currently on their roster. I also believe he'll provide the Saints with more than Jameis Winston was able to last year. Being a New Orleans Saint would allow Pickett to play in a dome for at least 8 games per season, which would alleviate some concerns surrounding his hand size. New Orleans has a good offensive line. Wide receiver 1 Michael Thomas should be returning to the team. A dual threat running back in Alvin Kamara who he can depend on, and a strong defense to keep games close. Pickett would make the Saints instant contenders in a weak NFC South. My player comparison for Pickett is current Tennessee Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill. Pickett is worthy of a top 20 to 32 selection. I think that he will be taken before pick 20, however. Overall, Pickett's a sound prospect with few holes in his game, but his upside is somewhat limited considering his age. If he can get through his career without the hand size affecting him too drastically, I think that he's going to be set to have a long, successful career. That'll do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a better understanding of who Kenny Pickett is as a prospect. Let me know below your thoughts on Pickett and expect more draft content leading up to the NFL draft in April. Until next time.